Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the Notary Book Club. I decided to, well, that's neither here nor there. Anywho, I am your girl, Ayana Lugo, aka the Crafty Notary. Thank you all once again for joining the Notary Book Club. And for those of you who don't know, we are reading the complete how to guide for notaries. This book can be purchased from the NNA. The book also can be viewed digitally if you are a member of the NNA by signing into the NNA's website, clicking on My NNA, and then opening the menu for member benefits. And the book is there on the right hand side. So, as you come in, please do hit the like button. If you please feel free to participate in the chat. Um, if you are on Facebook, you need to give StreamYard permission to see your name. Let me close this door. All right. You need to give StreamYard permission to see your name. Otherwise, when you comment on StreamYard, I will only see you as Facebook user, which is okay. You can just also put your name in your comments. So make sure you like the video and subscribe. Okay, I'm back. Technical difficulties with the internet connectivity here at my house. So, my husband is an IT guy and he has done something different with the setup, and I don't think it's working the way it should. So, He will fix it. So let's just jump right in. This is again the complete how-to guide for notaries from the NNA's website. We are on chapter 11 this week. So let's get right into it. There we go. And let me take the banner off so that you can see everything clearly. All right, so one more thing. Let's make that full screen, and here we go. So today we are talking about proofs of I'm going to check the notary primer here to find out if that is a thing in Florida. And the reason why I'm checking is because I want you all to be in the habit of checking these documents. Let's see. So on page 33, witnessing signature not required. Oh, that's for an acknowledgement. That's not what we're talking about. So I don't see anything in here. This oath and affirmation for credible identifying witness, person with a disability, which we'll talk about in this book. I don't think proofs of execution are legal in the state of Florida, but you should check your state if you are not in Florida to find out where, if it is legal in your state. Reggie, I took my picture off and then you couldn't hear me because I said, hold on. That's why. So I had taken the picture off, but I guess I'll leave it on so that way you guys can know whether or not I'm talking in the event that you can't hear me. Oh, here we go. Here we go, right here. Page 45. Let me get bigger. Page 45, right where the arrow is. It says proofs of execution by subscribing witness. Although Florida statutes address the recording of documents proved by subscribing witness, the Florida Governor's Office states that a proof of execution by subscribing witness is not a notarial act. And that's Florida Statute 695.3 and the web FAQs. So it is an unauthorized notary practice in the state of Florida, so it is not a legal thing. So again, if you are not in the state of Florida, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I don't know what the heck. Could be the internet. If you are not in the state of Florida, make sure, okay, thanks. Make sure that you check your with your notary primer, looks like this or something similar. No, I think what's going on, it's our internet connection. That's what my husband was just asking me for the business card so he can go to Best Buy a new router. I'm like, no, we're not doing that right now. So we have this big elaborate thing that he does, and it's just not working to my satisfaction. So, hi Tiffany. All right, so let's keep going. The subscribing witness typically must be personally known by the notary. In addition, the ideal subscribing witness personally knows the principal signer and has no beneficial or financial interest in the document or transaction. It would be foolish of the notary, for example, to rely on the word of a subscribing witness presenting for notarization of a power of attorney that names this very witness as the attorney in fact. So that absolutely makes sense. If they were named in the document, they definitely could not be the subscribing witness. And now that we know this is not an authorized notary act in the state of Florida, why do we even care what this is? Well, I'll tell you. The reason why we care is because you need to know what this is in the event someone presents it to you. So people will call you with all kinds of scenarios and want to know if you can notarize a certain document in a certain manner. And you need to know what a proof of execution is, or signing or subscribing, what a subscribing witness is. So you need to know that so that if you're in Florida, you can say, I'm sorry, it's not legal here in the state of Florida. Or if it's not legal in your state, you can give them that information. So An alternative to an acknowledgement. So, in many states, a proof of execution is regarded as an acceptable substitute for an acknowledgement on recordable documents. However, proofs, as they are sometimes called, may never be used for documents requiring a jurat. Jurats require oath and affirmations of the principal, and no person can take an oath or affirmation for another. So that makes perfect sense, right? If you have a principal who is signing a jurat, they can't have someone else take an oath or affirmation for them. They have to do it themselves. So, what I can say though in the state of Florida is that we can notarize online and we can notarize people that are out of the country. So, it kind of eliminates that need to have a subscribing witness if the other party or the receiving party of their document is willing to take an electronic signature. So if not, then they're going to have to figure that out in the country that they're in by going to maybe the U.S. Embassy if they're U.S. citizens, or checking around in that country for how that works. All right. While many states allow proof of executions for deeds and other recordable documents, some persons, agencies, and companies may not accept documents notarized in this way because proofs have a high potential for fraudulent abuse, which is probably another reason why Florida will not allow that. Relying only on the word of a third party without the signer present, a notary cannot determine for certain that the signature of the principal was not forged, coerced, or incompetently made. But a notary can reduce the possibility of fraud by refusing to notarize in cases in which honesty or impartiality of a witness is questionable. And as you see back up here, it says the witness typically must be personally known by the notary. So the subscribing witness. So if you don't even know the subscribing witness and they don't, and they know the principal, then it's not even something that you probably should be doing. All right. So, and in here it states, due to potential for fraud, proofs of execution should only be performed as a last resort. They should not be used merely to avoid inconveniencing the friend, a client, or an employer. So, at all costs, no matter who the person is, we should always be following the proper rules for a notary, which is appearing before the notary. Everyone appears before the notary, properly identifying the signer, properly documenting the notary journal with all of the relevant information, and then making sure that the notarization act is legal for our particular commissioned state. So we should always be doing those things. And forgot, administering the oath or affirmation in the event it is a jurat. All right, so there's 4 requirements for proofs. In order to execute a proof by subscribing witness, 4 requirements must be met. Personal appearance. So the subscribing witness must personally appear before the notary. Identification of the witness. The notary must personally know or positively identify the subscribing witness. So I guess they don't have to personally know them, but they need to positively identify them. Me, if I lived in another state, there's no way I would do one of these without knowing the person. Number 3, the witness signs the document. So the subscribing witness must sign the document. And then 4, the subscribing witness must swear or affirm that he or she either witnessed the principal sign or the principal acknowledged having signed a document to the subscribing witness. All right, so those are the 4 requirements. Personal appearance, we all know what this is, but the principal signer does not appear before the notary for a proof of execution. The subscribing witness does. A proof is the only act that may be performed in this manner without the presence of the principal signer or an authorized representative of the principal, such as an attorney in fact, a guardian, or a conservator, who signs for the principal. These circumstances would be unacceptable for an acknowledgement or jurat, but the appearance of a subscribing witness before the notary does meet the personal appearance requirement for a proof of execution. To establish personal appearance, the subscribing witness must be face to face in the same room as the notary at the time the proof is executed. A proof cannot be taken over the phone, from an adjacent room, or through the mail. Okay? Next, identification. The subscribing witness must be positively identified. The more reliably a notary can identify a subscribing witness, the more reliable the proof of execution will be. Most laws specifically require every subscribing witness to be personally known by the notary. This is a good and prudent practice for all notaries to follow for proofs, as it reduces the potential for fraud. One state, North Carolina, expressly allows notaries to rely on identification documents to identify subscribing witnesses. Other states may allow use of personally known, credible identifying witness to identify subscribing witness. Now, let's pause and think about that. I got a gnat in here. So, the principal cannot sign for whatever reason, so they appoint a subscribing witness who watches them sign the document, and they acknowledge that they saw, or they acknowledge that the principal wanted them to sign. So they appear before you to sign the documents, but they don't have ID. So now they bring in two credible identifying witnesses to identify them. Like, that absolutely is just too much. Like, that's just too dang on much for me. All right. So the credible identifying witness and the subscribing witness can be confusing, but these are two types of witnesses. Okay. A credible identifying witness vouches for the identity of a signer appearing before a notary. A subscribing witness vouches for the genuineness of the signature of a person who does not appear before the notary. How do we distinguish the two? Well, there's words there. Credible identifying witness means that witness is identifying. And subscribing witness, the word subscribing also means sign. So that means they are the signing witness. So those are two easy ways for you to remember which one is which. All right. So then the witness signs the document, and the subscribing witness is so named because this person must sign his or her name on the document as a witness in addition to the principal's signature. So they have watched the principal sign already, but now they have to sign the document as a witness. All right. And then the witness takes an oath or affirmation. So in order to compel truthfulness, the notary administers an oath or affirmation to the subscribing witness. The subscribing witness appears or affirms that he or she watched the principal sign or personally took the principal's acknowledgement. So that means if the principal already signed the document, the subscribing witness took their acknowledgement and they asked them, do you acknowledge that this is your signature? They said yes. And then depending on the circumstance, any allowed proceed, or never mind. Additionally, the witness must swear or affirm that the principal requested the witness to sign the document as a witness and bring it to the notary. So they have to swear to all of that. Now, there are below are examples of the oath and the affirmation. So the oath would be, do you solemnly swear that you witnessed so-and-so sign his or her name to the document and or acknowledge to you having executed it for the purposes stated therein, or therein stated, so help you God. And the affirmation would be, do you solemnly affirm that the witness that you witnessed sign his or her name to this document and or acknowledge to you having executed it for the purposes therein stated. So that is the oath and affirmation. And then there is a certificate for proofs of execution. So it says that proofs are complex notary acts, and they involve an absent principal, a subscribing witness, identification, and an oath and affirmation. Certificates for the proof are complex as well, but the notary should not shy away. Careful reading of the certificate wording will show you the notary's responsibility. And that's with every All right, I'm back. Let's see if we connect to the broadcast. My internet went down. This time it was the Spectrum box. So maybe it's Spectrum that's killing our network. But I don't see it coming back. So let me go out and come back in. There we go. All right. Can everybody hear me and see me? Okay. Can you do a thumbs up if you can hear me or see me? We're going to get through this, and then I'm going to have my husband change out some of the equipment so that we can mitigate this. But this time it was Spectrum because the whole box went down. So I almost just said screw it for the rest of the thing. So let's just get through the end of this, and then I will see you guys next week because something's definitely going on with the internet at my house, which was okay earlier today, and now all of a sudden it's acting crazy. So, all right. So the certificate for the proof of execution, that's what we were talking about. So this is a typical certificate. Before me, name of notary on this day, personally appeared the subscribing witness, personally known to me or proved to me on the oath of the name of the person of the subscribing, identifying the subscribing witness. So that would be the credible witness, to be the person whose name is subscribed as a witness to the foregoing instrument and who, after being duly sworn or affirmed by me, stated on oath or affirmation that he or she saw the name of the principal signer, the person who executed the foregoing instrument, subscribed the same, or acknowledged in his or her presence having executed the same for the purposes and considerations therein expressed, and that he or she had signed the same as a witness at the request of the person who executed the same, given under my hand and seal of this office, this day, month, and year, and then the notary signs and does the rest of our thing down at the bottom. So it says, while this is lengthy and intricate, which it is, looking at it phrase by phrase helps to decode the meaning. So before me, name of notary on this day personally appeared indicates that the subscribing witness appeared before the notary at the time of the notarization. In the first blank, the notary writes his or her own name. And the second one, it's the subscribing witness. All right. Next, the wording personally known to me or proved to me on the oath of name of the credible identifying witness says the subscribing witness was identified by the notary and how. So either by personal knowledge or by credible identifying witness. The inappropriate wording should be line through. So that would be, so if you knew them by personal knowledge, you would line through this statement and initial. Or if a credible identifying witness identified them, you would line through this statement and then put your initials there. So whatever is in the notarial certificate that does not fit should be lined through an initial. So sometimes the he and she, he or she, like right here, where is it? Where is it? It's up here somewhere. Right here. Like his or her presence, you should line through one or the other. I typically stay away from lining through his or her, he and she, just because of gender fluidity. And I do not want to disrespect anybody by asking them their gender when I'm just there to do a notary. So I just leave those words the same. But these types of things should be lined through and initialed. All right. And if the credible witness is used, then you will write that in the blank. If they're not used, you can probably just put NA there so that you don't leave that space blank. All right. So with the person whose name is subscribed as a witness to the foregoing instrument, the certificate states there that the subscribing witness signed the document as a witness. The phrase, who after being duly sworn or affirmed by me, indicates that the subscribing witness took an oath or affirmation. The word stated on oath or affirmation that Begin the context of the subscribing witness's oath or affirmation, and it follows with he or she saw the name of the principal, the person who executed the foregoing instrument, subscribed the same, or acknowledged in his or her presence having executed the same. This section says that the subscribing witness saw the principal sign or took the principal's acknowledgement. The blank is to be completed with the principal's name. And he or she had signed the same as a witness at the request of the person who executed the same, states that the witness signed the document as a witness at the principal's request. So this would be executing a typical proof on August 21st, which is my mama's birthday, 2017 at 10 a.m. Anita A. Hamilton appears before Notary Roberta Bradley in Contra Costa County, California, and presents a services contract signed by her supervisor, David L. Shaw, on August 19, 2017. Mr. Shaw cannot appear before the notary himself because he has been unexpectedly called out of the country on business. Ms. Hamilton was present at the signing and was instructed by Mr. Shaw to sign the document as a witness and then take it to the notary to have it notarized. The notary works in the same office as Ms. Hamilton and Mr. Shaw and has been a close personal friend of Ms. Hamilton for several years inside and outside of the work environment. So step 1 is personal appearance. Mr. Shaw does not personally appear before the notary, but Ms. Hamilton, a witness to the signing, does. While this would not be acceptable for an acknowledgement or a jurat, it does meet personal appearance requirement for a proof of execution. So these documents are not acknowledgments or jurats. They are specifically called proof of execution. That is the notary type. All right. Determining the type of notarial act. So Ms. Hamilton asks to have Mr. Shaw's signature notarized. She explains that he's out of the country. He cannot personally appear. The notary informs Mrs. Hamilton, that the notarization can be performed only in rare situations, provided that someone who witnessed the signing or who took Mr. Shaw's acknowledgement of having signed can serve as a subscribing witness. Ms. Hamilton tells the notary that she saw Mr. Shaw sign and her to sign the document as a witness and then take it to a notary to have it notarized. Though she does not know what the notary act is called, Ms. Hamilton just asked the notary to perform proof of execution by subscribing witness. So in this case, we don't have to ask what type of notarization they are looking for. If they come with this scenario, it's automatically a proof of execution by subscribing witness. And in the state of Florida, we can do it. All right. The notary's long friendship with Ms. Hamilton in and outside the workplace sufficiently establishes her personal knowledge of Ms. Hamilton's identity. All right. Next, step 4. Next, an oath affirmation must be administered. Ms. Hamilton prefers to take an oath. Before administering the oath, the notary tells Ms. Hamilton that lying under oath or perjury is a criminal act. Then the notary instructs Ms. Hamilton to raise her right hand and asks her, "Do you solemnly swear that you saw David L. Shaw sign his name to this document, so help you God?" She responds, "I do." All right. With proof of execution, there are 2 individuals whose willingness and awareness should be determined. So it's the principal signer and the subscribing witness. The willingness and awareness of Mr. Shaw is determined through the subscribing witness. The notary asks Ms. Hamilton if Mr. Shaw signed the document without apparent duress, and if he appeared alert and aware when signing. Ms. Hamilton answers yes. As for Ms. Hamilton, the fact that she appeared before the notary, described her role as a witness, and took an oath without hesitation already establishes her willingness. Her awareness is determined through the notarization. Since she appears to the notary to act reasonably and communicate effectively, she is considered aware. So next, you would complete the journal entry, and I don't really have to read through that one. And then you complete the certificate. So while the document contains pre-printed acknowledgement wording, This is not appropriate for a proof of execution. Instead, the notary lines through the pre-printed wording and provides a certificate form with the following wording. And so that would be this wording here. So you would need a loose certificate for this type of notarization. All right. And then this last portion just shows you how to fill in the notary certificate, which we just went over. And then she signs her name and stamp in the state of Florida. You will write your name underneath, you will print your name underneath your signature. That is always a requirement. All right. And so this is the summary. So we have painstakingly gone through the proof of execution. So I am going to stop here. I know normally we do the questions for the quiz at the end of the chapter. However, I'm going to not do that in order to allow our internet to get worked on, because he's waiting for me to get done so that we can try to troubleshoot what is going on. So as usual, thank you so much for joining the book club session today. We'll be back next Thursday with another chapter. We're going to be on chapter 12. Again, we're reading the how-to guide for notaries. This is the book here. You can purchase the book from the NNA. You can also download the book or read along electronically if you are an NNA member. This book is a general book for all notaries. So this book is not state specific. This is why I also read from the primer as well. This is the Florida Notary Primer. There is a primer for almost every state with the NNA. So you would just go to their website and look for the primer for your particular state. This book condenses all of the laws and statutes for your state, and this is a lifesaver. I can not say that enough, that this book is a lifesaver. This book goes with me to each and every appointment in the event I need to pull it out and show someone what the book says. So it'll save you some trouble in the future. So again, thank you so much. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I please welcome you. I welcome you. I don't please welcome you. I welcome you to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so that you are alerted when I go live with new videos. We'll be back next Thursday at 7 p.m. So make sure you're here. And what else? Until the next time, I will see you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.